Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, April 20th, and today we're going to be making some terrariums. And I will put together packets that you can pick up to make your own aquarium, or terrarium, sorry. So, what a terrarium is it's a self-contained ecosystem. So if you've ever been to the biosphere, you kind of know what I'm talking about. That was completely self-contained, and it created its own atmosphere and rain cycle. So that's what we're going to do. There's two kinds of terrariums. There's enclosed and there's open. And you can do either one. The enclosed systems, however, do create that rain cycle within the container. And they're a lot easier to care for. They don't require as much maintenance. So in your kit, what you're going to find is some charcoal. And this isn't just any kind of charcoal. This is a special horticulture charcoal. And what this does is this layer within your terrarium filters the water and purifies the water. You're going to have some moss. The moss layer goes right below the soil, and it makes it so that the soil doesn't fall down into the drainage rocks or into the charcoal. It holds it like a filter. Now, the fun part of the activity is actually going for a walk. You're going to go for a walk, and you're going to find some things in nature, some pretty rocks. I'll show you some of the things I found. These are white rocks I found actually in my driveway. We have rocks in our driveway. And I just picked out all the white rocks. And they're really not very big. You know, some are smaller. But these will serve as the very bottom layer. And because they're not tightly packed in, they're able to allow for drainage of the water. And when the water drains through, then it evaporates up and it comes down again as rain. So you have the first layer of rocks. And you can go out and you can pick up rocks, or you can go to the dollar store. There's lots of decorative rocks you can get real pretty colored rocks. You can, you know, if you recall in a fish tank, the different types of decorative rocks that you can find in a fish tank. You can buy them at Walmart, you can buy them at the dollar store, or you can buy the colored marbles. Those are real pretty as well. But basically the idea is that you want something that is organic and something that is big enough that you're going to have space in between that will allow for drainage. So I've got a couple different things here. I've got some red rock and I've got some white rock. And you can go out in nature and you can kind of find things that will serve your purpose. Other things I've found for my terrarium is some cool sticks. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with this stick a little later, but I found some wood pieces. I've got some bark. You know, you could use bark. This is a pretty big size bark, but I would break it up to just use as decoration in the terrarium. Here's another cool piece of bark I found. Or actually, this is a piece of root or cactus. I also looked for some unique rocks. Those will be decorations in the topsoil with the plant. Then we have our plants. Now, I've ordered some plants, and you'll get a plant in your kit, but you can use succulents, but they require an open terrarium. It's too much moisture in there for succulents. But this plant I ordered from Amazon, and it came with a whole bunch of plants. But we're going to use this plant today for our terrarium. I also brought along some seashells just to give you an idea of some of the different things that you can use to decorate your terrarium. And I got some starfish. And I'm not going to use those today, but you can get bags of seashells at the dollar store as well. And, you know, they could make a fun terrarium. So what we're going to do is we start with our container. Now this is a pretty large container, and I got this at Walmart for $7. So they actually have like 3 different areas that they have glass containers. Some are real decorative by the candles, but they don't have lids. I saw some others in the household area where the cookie jars are, and then I saw some in the craft where the dry flowers are. So look around and find one that you like. And like I said, it doesn't have to be an enclosed terrarium. So the first thing I'm going to do is open my terrarium. And the first layer, like I said, is going to be your larger stones for drainage. So you can put all the same color, or you can mix it up and use different types of things, like red stones and white stones and even some decorative rocks. I'm going to put them in here. Spread them out nice and even. Like that. So if you can see, I've got my stones in the bottom layer, and they're spread out nice and even, so they're going to give drainage. Now I think, because I have so much space in there, I think I'm going to add my red stones. So I picked up a whole bag of red stones in my driveway. I'm going to add those in here just for a nice decorative visual. There. So you'll see I have 2 layers of stones, red and white. Now my next layer is going to be my charcoal. And you'll have about a cup of charcoal in your kit. Like I said, charcoal purifies the water as it filters through. You just want a nice even layer of charcoal. I'm going to spread it around so it's nice and even. Now comes the moss. And remember, the moss prevents the topsoil from sinking down into the charcoal. And just put a nice layer of moss in here. So if you can see this, you're going to see that I have my charcoal, and then I have my moss on top of my charcoal, and make it as even as you can, because you don't want your topsoil to sink down into your charcoal and your rocks. Now, we're at the point now where we're going to put our plant in. So you want to always only use, this is filtered water, and I have it in a little sprayer that does not work, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our plant, and before I put the dirt, the topsoil in, I put the plant in first, because I want to make sure it is low enough. It's pretty dry right now, so I think I'm going to wet it. I'm just going to get this nice and wet. garden's pretty thirsty. So you want to situate your flower in an area of the container. And then you'll put the rest of your topsoil around it. This can get a little messy. So I'm going to clean off the leaves of my plant, the flowers. And then I'm going to get the dirt spread out evenly, pack it down a little bit. Now the thing about terrariums, especially enclosed ones, the biggest problem is usually that people overwater. So you want to be careful not to overwater your terrarium. And I'm just going to pour a little bit of water in here just to get her started. And I probably won't water it again for a month, a couple weeks to a month, but I'll keep checking it to see, make sure that the soil is good and moist. Now you can see that I've got my plant in there, I've got my layers, and now I'm going to add some of my rocks and my wood pieces, and I actually bought some miniature animals on Amazon. So I've got a couple things. I've got this little deer, and I even have a little dog, and I found these little creatures. They're buttons, but you can use them. I found these at Walmart. This is a little owl, and I am going to put the little owl, I'm going to glue him to the tree. So the tree will go standing upright in here, and the owl will be glued to the tree. But first I'm going to put some of my rocks in. So I found a couple kind of cool rocks that I thought were neat. And they're just these flat, different colored rocks. And I think that I'm going to put some of my tree bark in here as a decoration. And then maybe I'm going to put a little bit more moss on the top to serve as grass. And push it down and put it around. And you kind of want to make sure you don't cover up your decorations that are in there. And I'm going to add this really pretty rock my husband found. I think I want to wash it first. And then the last thing I'm going to add is my owl on a stick, which I'm going to glue on here and place in here. So I'm going to see if I can find a spot for him. I think he'll go here or over here maybe. So you can move things around. Try to find a good spot. So when you're done, your terrarium is going to look like a little forest glen. And you will seal it up and keep an eye on it. And eventually what's going to happen is inside during the day you're going to see condensation on the side of your glass, which means that the ecosystem has created itself. And that condensation will drip down into the soil and into the drainage part, and then it will evaporate up again and form condensation on the glass, and you've created your own little world. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and you know how to reach me if you have questions. I'll talk to you soon.